Hear Oh, I did not know I was not going to have a voice. Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. I am here, as promised, giving the Real Housewives of Potomac review. I know it's the middle of the day. Many of you can't catch it live. I'm going live early because I am going back to the gym again tonight. So let's get right into it. I feel like I have a lot to say about these Real Housewives of Potomac reunion reviews, so I'm going to break it up into two lives. Hopefully, they won't be more than 20 minutes each, but let's get right into it. The number one thing I want to say, because I've already talked about the reunion looks and what order I think people looks should have went into. The more and more I watch this reunion, you already know if you've seen my reviews yesterday, I'm late and I apologize. But the more and more I watch the reunion, the uglier and uglier everyone dresses. Everyone looks to me. And the saddest part about it all, the more I watch it, the more Gizelle's jumpsuit looks better than everybody else's dress. Now, Gizelle is still all the way out of line and out of order for wearing that jumpsuit to the reunion. I already told you that's a cute little jumpsuit I would put on for the cruise when I'm going to Captain's Dinner, not to the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. But everybody else is starting to look a mess. Let's get into the reunion because I already talked about the fashions. We open it up talking about Gizelle and her fashions, and I'm like, why? Why? I mean, Gizelle looks a mess every episode. We know this. Why is this another reunion point of conversation? Like, Gizelle doesn't care what you all say about her fashions. We just gonna read it down. It does not need to be a point of conversation for the reunion. Hey, Eric, I see you over in the comments. How you doing? What I put in my notes, Gizelle can't dress, move on. Let's just roast her on Twitter like we've been doing and move on. We don't need to talk about this at the reunion. And a little side note, about 80% of the cast can't dress. Gizelle is not the only one because Robin clearly cannot dress. Candace can be cute. Candace is cute. Ashley is a no ma'am. Wendy this season, new body and all, half of that shit she had on was a no ma'am. Karen half the time is a no ma'am, just because I think Karen dresses a little bit more out of my demographic. She's a little bit older than me. But even half the shit a Scholar had on this season was a no ma'am. So just because you put a Gucci on it or a Louis on it don't mean that it's all that. So let's move on from the fashions because most of y'all can't dress. Let's get into the Mia segment. Mia is a liar. And that's just point and blank and period. Mia lies. And I think she enjoys lying. And I think she finds it entertaining to get caught up in her lies. I don't hate Mia. I think she's a good addition to this show. But girl, you gotta pick a storyline and stick with it. What I don't like about Mia, and I believe I said this about her before, I don't like when people bring up salacious, like really, salacious, like outrageous things about their lives, and they put it on the table. I done got my clique done. I used to be a stripper. My husband took me off the pole. Like, this is all stuff she said about herself. No one was Googling Mia. Nobody was looking her up. You say all this stuff about yourself and you don't expect people to have questions because most people don't come out and in a new group, I don't know you from Adam, and say, oh, I got my clique done. Yeah, my husband took me off the pole. That's not information you give up to people that you don't know. And so when people have questions about it, don't get offended. And then when you start shit with people and they throw that shit back in your face, don't get offended. Like, don't. And that's what I don't like about Mia. Like, and then you put out there that you were a stripper, but then you had to backtrack because I guess maybe you felt like being a stripper Wasn't something you really wanted out there. Well, I wore a gown. Yeah, I took my gown off, but I had on booty shorts. I'm like, bitch, just say you was a stripper getting your dollars and you got you a rich man and move on. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Really. What else I have to say about Mia? That's about it, because I don't care nothing else about Mia and her moment. Because I want Mia to come back, but I want to get to know more about her. Not her businesses, not her mama, but her and her family. And can she be truthful? Let me tell you what I think about Mia and what she's going to do if she does come back, because Robin seems to be on thin ice. Mark my words. If Robin leaves this show, I guarantee you Mia jumps into the Robin spot. I feel like Mia wants to be Gizelle's best friend. She wants to drag and roast these women. She wants to be all up in their business. She wants to be in that green-eyed bandit spot badly. And I guarantee you, if Robin leaves, Mia becomes the new Robin. But let's move on. I guess next Gizelle has a moment. Um, they want to know who this commentator is that Gizelle is dating. I want to say this about Gizelle because y'all know I hate Gizelle. I do. I dislike Gizelle more than any other reality television person in reality TV history. I don't like her. I don't like her energy, and I don't like people who act like her. But Gizelle is a beautiful woman. I don't think Gizelle has a problem finding a man. I don't think Gizelle has a problem getting a man to have sex with her. I do think her cold heartedness and I do think her lack of emotions prevents her, and that wall, we know she has that wall up, prevents her from keeping a man. So Gizelle saying that she was dating some commentator and then a few weeks later he gone, I don't not believe that. I believe that it was. But the shady part was Wendy came up and was like, I know it wasn't Van Jones because he likes a woman with integrity. I said, that's how you read. That's how you read, because you see that bitch's face like, ooh, I can't say nothing about that. Gizelle, what did I say? They talk about Gizelle's house. I don't know why we're talking about Gizelle's house again. It's ugly. It's ugly. Gizelle's house is mismatched on the outside. I don't care how much she try to fix it up. It's mismatched on the outside. But to me, call me tacky. I don't care. I like the inside of Gizelle's house. I've said it once and I said it a million times. I like that bright pink. I like that bright pink ass wall. If I could have a pink ass wall in my house, I would. But no, that's why I got some red walls in a room I used to record in. I like all that glitz and I like the shit. I don't care. But the outside of the house is a mess. We're talking about Jamal again, and why? Why are we talking about Jamal? Like Jamal, they asking all these questions that they should have asked Gizelle last season. And I feel like part one of the reunion was an opportunity for Andy to get a redo, but you didn't ask the questions that needed to be asked. We all know that Gizelle didn't cry over Jamal. She didn't care about that binder. She didn't care about none of that shit because it wasn't a real relationship. And if we aren't going to ask the bitch, was Jamal a storyline? Like, if you're not gonna dig into the facts of that she lied and that they were never even in a relationship the second time around, I don't want to hear about it, because you're trying to catch her up in a lie, and Gizelle is an awful liar. Like, when did you Jamal break up? Maybe January. But didn't Jamal say that he was single in December? He meant that he wasn't married. Like, bitch, we know the difference between single and married, and that's not what that man meant. He meant that he was not with you. He was no longer pretending to be your storyline in December because it was causing too much mess in ATL. He was through playing along with you in December. So Gizelle is a bad liar, and I just wish y'all would ask her. I feel like you didn't go in hard enough on Gizelle to get the facts that we really want to know. Like, bitch, can you ever get a man to have a storyline, or is getting your baby daddy to lie the best you can do? Like, that's the questions I want Andy to ask. Not this, oh, we're figuring it out. Well, what are you figuring out? Your lies? You trying to figure out how to get your lies straight? Is that what you're figuring out? I don't know, but I appreciate Wendy for calling out the timeline and getting her together. But if we're not going to ask the real questions, then leave Jamal out of it. Now, I already covered that Gizelle wasn't hurt about that binder. Gizelle says she has a wall up. That's a defense mechanism. I understand. She ain't the only one. And she won't be the last woman that's been cheated on, and now got a wall up. That's very understandable. I said that I don't care. Just like, I don't understand why Andy even asked her, well, did you cry? When you went home, did you cry? Do you really expect this woman to be like, yeah, I broke down in the shower when I got home, Andy? Gizelle isn't that type of bitch to tell you that. She's always going to have the exterior of nothing bothers me. And if something does bother Gizelle, I guarantee it, we will never see it on TV. She never going to show it. And I don't care. They want to know why Karen always wants to shade Gizelle about not having a man. It's very simple. Karen shades Gizelle about not having a man because Gizelle is in everybody else's relationships business. Like, if Gizelle went attack these ladies on, I guess she can't attack them on their fashion. She can't attack them on their homes. I don't know. But Gizelle's point of attack is always someone's marriage or relationship. If their husband cheating, who their husband want to lick up and down. So if that's her point of attack, why not attack her the same way? Like, make it go both ways, people. I don't understand, because people on Twitter always like, y'all always trying to say Gizelle ain't got a man. Well, Gizelle always want to stay in somebody's relationship. So people always say don't take dating advice from people that ain't got no man. Like, the only thing Gizelle could tell me is how to sit in the church when I'm married to the pastor and put a smile on my face when his baby mama in the pew right over there. That's the only advice Gizelle can give me, because that's the only shit she's been through. She can't tell me how to keep one. So next they bring up Jamal's taxes, which was 100% shade. Jamal is not a part of this show. Now, I don't give a fuck about, let me stop cursing so much. I don't care about this man, left or right. I don't care about Jamal at all. But he hasn't been pretending to be a part of this show since last season. So why are we still talking about his taxes? It was 100% shade. We are throwing this man all the way up to the bus because of your ex-wife. Now, I'm not mad that they threw it in Gizelle's face, because Gizelle did all that free Uncle Ben shit on the t-shirts a couple of seasons ago. If I was Karen, I would have had on free Jamal shirt, and on the back, Gizelle get an attorney. I would have wore that shirt to the reunion and then, took it off and revealed my dress, because I would have been petty like that. But Karen is a much better woman than me, because, bitch, you can't roast me and drag me and tell me you just want my husband to pay my bills when your ex-husband wasn't paying bills. And when your best friend over there with a damn payment arrangement to the IRS. Bitch, I would have dragged Robin and Gizelle continuously. But Karen is a much better woman than me. Apparently, I don't know the law. I am an accountant, but I don't do tax law. I do taxes, but I don't know if Gizelle could be brought into Jamal's IRS problems, because she was technically married to him, I guess, in 2008, and that was one of the years he didn't file his taxes. It all depends, because if they file married filing separately, then Gizelle has nothing to do with it. But if it's married filing joint and her name is attached to that joint tax return, then yes, ma'am, please get you an attorney, and quickly, because the IRS is watching Real Housewives of Potomac, and they will be looking to collect, and they don't care who they collect it from. A scholar comes out, and I don't know why. At this moment, a scholar comes out just to say she would like to be a stylist for Gizelle. Can we please leave Gizelle and her fashions alone? And I ain't taking up for the bitch, but it's just not gonna ever get better. It's not. Gizelle was all the Versace, what is it called? Versace, the Gucci. She got all the name brands and she still can't put the shit together. So just leave her alone. Leave her alone. Let's turn to Candace. We want to talk about Chris being Candace's manager and being paid in love. And this is where Mia puts her foot in her size 12, her big foot. I can make fun of Mia's foot because I only wear a 10. So she got 2 more inches on me. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. I'm back. Mia puts her size 12 in her mouth talking about when you pay somebody in love, that's prostitution. I should know. I only talk about what I know. And I'm like, bitch, you was just the other day talking about I ain't come to the reunion because I don't like being called a prostitute and all this. Bitch, you just done said you know about prostitution. That's what I don't like about Mia. Don't say dumb shit like that. See, you trying to read. You was trying to read, but you flipped the read on yourself. You was trying to read Candace, but it flipped on yourself. Just don't say nothing. Let Candace and Chris do what they gonna do. That's their business anyway. Anyway, Ashley is chiming in. Well, I think Chris might be a little depressed. He drinking a lot and he done gained a little bit of weight. And I'm like, bitch, who didn't gain weight during the pandemic? Who wasn't drinking? It wasn't shit else to do but sit in the house and drink and work from home. If you was working from home, it wasn't shit else to do in a pandemic. So, Ashley, mind your wide body business. They brought Candace's mom into it, and I guess Candace confirmed that Mama Dot is not on the mortgage deed. Who cares? Candace makes... I don't hate Candace, but I hate sticking up for Candace too. All these ladies on Potomac make hella money, a lot of money. She can afford her own house. So leave Candace and her mama paying the bills. Leave that alone. So her mom was at the photo shoot or the video shoot talking all this shit, and we saw it. Gizelle wants to know why you mad at us and not at your mama for spreading all your business. She's mad at you, Gizelle, because you co-signed with Mia. You co-signed because they come over there telling you, Mia asking Mama Dot how much money Chris making. You talking about, I want to know that too. Now we all wanted to know, but you verbally co-signed. So that's why she mad at you. The number 2 fact I want to say about Chris and his non-payment. Candace brought that shit up first. Candace they was at a whole dinner party, I want to say when they went on their first little vacation, where she made a whole table announcement of Chris is my manager and I ain't paying his ass. I'm just giving him some love. Like, she brought that shit up first. And that's the same thing with Mia. If you don't want people roasting you, wondering how your husband paying his bills and you talking about he your manager but you ain't paying him, don't bring the shit up. Just let people think Chris at home cooking, and that's all they need to know. When you add extra facts, you give them the ability to ask you extra questions. And you know Gizelle gonna give her opinion, which ain't nobody asked for, but she will. And then she starts crying. I cannot talk to my mother anymore. I cannot face my in-laws because of what my mother did. And she had that thing, the tissue all up in her eye. And I'm like, Candace, you're lying, because we done already seen the preview. I know I'm talking about Reunion Part 1, but y'all know we done seen Part 2 in the preview for Part 3. When Andy is on the phone with Mama Dot, you there cheesing and laughing, and Chris is like, hang up on her, and you laughing like the shit is funny. So at some point, Mia says a true friend would have came to you and said, yo, mama over there talking shit. That's what a true friend would have said. Like, you need to go get your mother. She over here telling all your business. Facts. I agree with you, Mia, with that. And Wendy talking about, you talking to me? Shut up. Wendy, that's the only moment I want you to be quiet, because Mia had a point. Mia had a point. Yes, she was over there asking questions, but Mama Dot came to the video shoot ready with a loaded gun to spill all of y'all business on a thing. And you should have told Candace, go get your mama. She's doing the most. She's over there doing the most. I agree with that. Candace with her Kleenex in her eye. I cussed my mother out so bad. I've never cussed her out like this. I said, bitch, you lying again. Every bitch on here lies. Let me tell you right now. Every bitch on here lies. Mama Dot done already slapped Candace in the mouth with a purse just for poking her lip out wrong. So I know you ain't cussed your mama out. And if you did, I know you got slapped good again. That's probably why you're not talking to her, because she slapped the shit out of you for cussing her out. I don't believe Candace talked to her mama crazy. Mama Dot don't look like the type of mama that's gonna take a cussing out. Even if it's warranted, she ain't taking one. So I don't believe that either. I already talked about her in-laws looking at her funny. I feel like the in-laws should have been looking at you funny. You've been talking to their son crazy since he been on this show. This wasn't your first season talking to him crazy, and this ain't the first season of your mama starting some shit with their son, so they should have been looking at you crazy. So again, lies. I don't believe it. What'd you say? Chris is gonna get fed up with Candace and leave her eventually. I could say something. I want to say something shady. I ain't gonna say it. I am gonna say it. I don't see Chris leaving Candace until he gets some coins of his own. As long as this housewife money is flowing in good, Chris is staying right there in his $1 million house. But if by chance, because it seemed like they kind of want to fire Candace, I don't feel like they will. I don't feel like they're gonna fire Candace. But if by chance that housewife's money dry up, then yeah, it's kind of hard to put up with people bullshit when you're broke. But I'm gonna move on, because I ain't mean to shade Candace, because people think I hate Candace, but I don't. I'm with Candace when she right, and I'm gonna tell her when she wrong. But let's move on. Candace. Okay. Candace went left. Candace went left a lot. She talking about, because they get back on Candace, this whole segment, they talking about Candace and her mouth and the Yo Mama low budget comment. And if you watch my reviews, you already know I don't give a fuck about that low budget comment. I felt like it was warranted at that time when she said it the first time. Anyway, she talking about in the Black community, it's called jonesing. And jonesing is just a joke. You should be thankful I didn't go harder on you. Hey, Andrew, I see you in the comments. I said, Candace, you ain't grew up in no Black community, and I know it. Now, I don't know it for a fact because I don't know how Candace grew up. But Candace gives me the only Black girl at the white school. That's what she gives me. Because if Candace grew up in a Black community, she would know that jonesing, your mama jokes, your mama so big, your mama so slutty, your mama so fat, your mama so dark, all that bullshit is the number one way to start a fight. Number one. Even if you're in a circle and you are jonesing and it is just jokes and we just laughing and kikiing, somebody gonna say a yo mama a little bit too far and a fight will break out. So that lets me know right there, Candace, you ain't in no Black community. You ain't grew up in it. Because if you really knew about jonesing, you would know, keep that shit to yourself, because that's the first and the easiest way to get slapped. That ain't no fucking joke. Anyway, they have a segment about Candace and her mouth, and this is one part where I felt like it wasn't fair. Yes, Candace can say things below the belt. Yes, Candace's mouth is slick. Yes, she can hit you to your core, but you know what? It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. I don't understand. It's kind of like, and I agree with Candace on this, they want to poke at her. They want to ask her inappropriate questions, say what they want to say to her, but she can only come back at you PG. And everybody else can say whatever the fuck they want to say about everybody else on the show, and we're not going to call that out. But when Candace says something, it's too much. I don't agree with that. I feel like if we're on a TV show, and half of this stuff we know is just for entertainment. They doing this just for TV. They don't act like this. And I think somebody even said it to Candace. I know you're not talking to people on the street like this, and I know she's not, because Candace has no hands. And you don't talk like that when you don't have hands. I just feel like Gizelle, Karen, Robin, Ashley, they say some of the nastiest shit to people on this show. They ask the most inappropriate shit on this show, and no one points it out to them. It's kind of like, oh, but Candace said it and it hurt my feeling. Like, bitch, get some thicker skin. You on the motherfucking Real Housewives of Potomac. This shit is known for reads and shade. Get some thicker skin or get off the show. And that's how I feel about it. Because I don't really feel like, now them years on Twitter, Candace has said a lot of low shit on Twitter. And I told y'all, Candace even, she responded to one of my tweets. And I wasn't even trying to be hateful. I was just giving a little 2 cents. And she said that I was broke and shit like that. She does try to hit you low, but you know what? When Candace said all that shit to me on Twitter, you know what I did? I didn't want to fight. I didn't even want to respond and cuss her out. I laughed because I'm like, this bitch don't know me. I ain't broke. So what you getting so angry for if the shit ain't true? Right, Andrew. They get paid. I don't know if they get paid to start rumors, but they do get paid to read each other and to throw shade and to entertain us on the TV screen. So I'm not too mad at Candace and her mouth. And if you can't take Candace's mouth, don't start no shit with her. Don't call her music video low budget if you can't take your mama low budget. That's just how I feel, and I'm gonna move on from there. They said Candace goes too far. I said Candace only goes too far when it's against you. All of last season, they used Candace as a verbal weapon. When Candace was throwing all that slander at Monique and Karen, the people they didn't like, oh, Candace was their best friend. But now that you don't need Candace to throw the shade at Monique, and you kind of want to make up with Karen, it's like, oh, you going too far. We might have to ice you out, girl. We can't. You might see yourself over there talking to yourself. I didn't like that. And what I need Candace to what I need all these, stop calling everybody hoes, but what I need all these ladies to understand is Gizelle is a user. Everybody wants to be this bitch friend, and I don't understand why. She been showing you her MO since season 1. She gonna shade you, she gonna talk shit about you, she gonna manipulate, she gonna stir up the pot, and then that wasn't me. I ain't believe it was even true, you know. Gizelle does this shit every season, but you ladies all want to be her friends. So next season, Candace, if you come back, if I see you be this bitch Gizelle friend, you deserve everything she gives you from there forward. Period. Let's move on. Andy talks about Candace is the common denominator. I don't agree. Like, yeah, she only got into one fight. Now, if somebody would have whooped her ass again, then okay, she's the common denominator. But everybody fights. If anything, Gizelle is the common denominator. If you scroll into how shit starts, it all starts with Gizelle. She the one who starts the shit. And then, okay, Candace finishes it and Ashley gets thrown in and Robin bullies her way to protect Gizelle, you know. But moving on. Now Gizelle says, Candace, your mouth is so vile. If Mia would have clocked you, I would have been okay with it. And I'm like, but what about Mia's daughter? Like, isn't Mia going to be a bad example for her daughter if she clocks Candace? Like I said, Candace, if I see you on my TV screen next season buddy with that bitch. You deserve everything Gizelle gives you from that point forward, because she done showed you she doesn't care about you. You're no longer useful as a weapon. So now let's make Candace the storyline and get her out. I believe that's Gizelle's storyline. Let's just bully people, ice people out, and get them to leave and bring in somebody new. Like I'm telling you right now, who needs to? You see how she did it to Wendy? It's you, Candace. A scholar, if you come back, bitch, you next. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I already talked about that. Already talked about Candace, her victim tears. And I think that's what people don't like about Candace. That's what I don't like about Candace. I don't particularly, her mouth doesn't bother me. What I don't like about Candace is she'll say shit, and when she's called out on it and she doesn't know how, or she doesn't have a valid point, she starts to crying, which is a Karen, not Karen Huger, but she gets very Karenish. Another reason why I don't believe she was raised in nobody black community. She's very Karenish with her tears and her tissue paper, and she takes no accountability. And she changes this. I can't stand a bitch who will change the subject when I have a point. Like, bitch, don't change the subject on me. Answer the question at hand. Um, I agree with Candace about the relapse. Mia, if your mama relapsed, that's because she wanted to relapse and she had a fiending for what she has always been fiending. That's not Candace's fault. I don't think it's Mia's fault either if her mother relapses because of the show. Like, if her mother relapses, it ain't got shit to do with Real Housewives of Potomac. It has everything to do with she probably was on drugs for 20 years and she was fiending for it again. So let's move on. Oh, that was it. That was the end of part one. So 30 minutes. I was on the dot. 30 minutes. That was cute. We're gonna get into part two next. I'm about to end this live because I know people watching. If they see me on here talking for an hour, they ain't gonna watch the whole thing. So if you want to come back, I'm about to end this live and start it right back up again and get into part two because I hit that 30-minute mark. I was right where I needed to be. Anyway, go ahead and like this. This is part one. Go ahead and like this video if this is your first time with me, Angie, at Kiss My Chicks. Talking too fast. At Kiss My Cheeks TV. Go ahead and hit subscribe. I review everything. All right. I'll see y'all in a few minutes. Bye.